Hello, I'm making a video again for teenagers because I am worried about all these things that are going on in the teen world. I don't have a teenager. I have an adult middle-aged dog instead. Making a video for teenagers. And but it doesn't matter whether I have kids that are teens or in their 20s. I can still have mother feelings for you all, and I sure do when I see what's going on the internet. And a couple of years ago there were all these teenagers that committed suicide, boys and girls, and very young. Some of them was I think as young as 12 or 13 to 16, something like this. And that is so incredibly unnecessary to do this. You come here to planet Earth, you have your mission of love, and you need to stick to that mission of love, and you need to not look at superficiality. Don't look at peer pressure, don't look at society, don't look at all these people that are... Don't look at other people, what they're doing. Don't model yourself after that. If any, model yourself after those people who have something to say. And here are some recommendations for you. Jiddu Krishnamurti, all of his presentations are on YouTube. Just look for it. I will put it under the video description. Jiddu Krishnamurti, he is the reincarnation of the Buddha. He is the best, he's the ultimate. Jiddu Krishnamurti is the absolute. Even though he vigorously rejected that status. He didn't want that status. He just referred to himself as the speaker. He said, doesn't matter who I am. I think he knew who he was. But if he had said that to people, he would have distracted everything. I know a woman from LA. She's from Sweden originally. She was a photo model and actress. A good friend of mine. I'm not gonna name names right now, but an older lady now, and she told me a story. She told me that she was a fan of Jiddu Krishnamurti, and that in the 70s that they would have these meetings where they meditated together, and the circle of fans in LA in the 70s was, I think, was relatively small. Today it's much wider. So he was more known in England. He was holding satsangs there, but then he was living in Ojai, California, and he was coming to LA and other places to meet with people to discuss meditation. And so he was there at a house one, I don't know if this is a true story, you know, my husband, he calls me gullible. He says, you believe everything. Well, what can I do, you know, she's telling me the story. But I have this feeling, this intuition that this story is indeed true. This is just my intuition. Maybe you think differently. You might be an atheist, like my husband. But listen to the story, because, you know, it shows, in my opinion, it shows what he is able to do. But he wasn't going around showing this off. So they met at this person's house somewhere in Malibu, and Jiddu had his own guest room that he would always come to. Before they had dinner, she was looking for the toilet, and she was opening the wrong door, and it was Jiddu's room. And she opened the door, and he was floating above his bed, like 5 feet above his bed. And underneath lay a book, a romance book, like a cheap romance book or something. And this whole situation was so shocking to her, and she took in every detail of this scenario. And she was so frightened about this that she slammed the door closed and ran back to the other people and asked them and told them what happened, and they said, yeah, he's very advanced. So then they met, then they ate dinner together, and he was as normal as it gets, like everybody else, you know, always very calm and very, very natural, always in this natural state, like there's never any pretense of anything. There's never anything where he felt self-conscious or where he had to prove anything to anybody. Always relaxed and helpful and always willing to help and explain things and so on. And so they had a very good time together for this retreat. And it was a very small retreat, like just among friends. And after the dinner, they sat together and they talked to him, and he was explaining things to him about meditation and mindfulness. Eckhart Tolle doesn't like the word mindfulness, but you know, that's the standard word, mindful, not being full of thoughts, but mindful, being very intentional in what you do, very aware of your intentions, very aware of all of your thoughts, intentions, and surroundings, and being in the present because of this. So he was teaching being in the present. He was teaching to go within and find out what went wrong in our lives, where did things go wrong, you know, and why? What was the underlying mindset that predated any kind of action? So they were sitting together, and she asked him, she said, I opened the door to your room accidentally and I saw you floating. I have several questions. When I closed the door, did you fall back on your bed? And he said no. And she said, she asked him, of course, how he does it. And he said it has to do with meditation. When you go into a very, 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 very deep meditation. She saw a book underneath him on the bed, and that book didn't fit into the equation. The book was a very cheap romance novel, which is like coming from the other dimension, the ordinary dimension of humanity. It's kind of like a multiverse, you know, where 2 dimensions or two universes are touching on each other, right next to each other, without problems. And he said, well, he's a human being too, and he likes women, and he likes to read romance novels. And that has nothing to do with his work, you know. And same with the politician who everybody looks up to, and then all of a sudden, that politician is having an affair or something. Jiddu never had an affair. He never got married in the first place. He had a girlfriend, and he didn't believe in marriage, so that was a whole lot more honest to begin with. Most people are pressured into these customs, you know, and then these customs don't work out because the person is way above those customs. Their freedom of mind is way above those customs. I'm not saying that swinging is naturally good for everybody. You know, it's good for some people, and not for everybody. But you know, the custom of marriage, for example, that should be questioned by itself, because the contract itself is so flimsy. How can it hold strong if other feelings come in later on? You know, if the person decides, oh, this wasn't working out or something, you know, or they fall in love with someone younger. That's just human biology, you know. So now, human biology or animal biology is nothing that's wrong. It's just made wrong by the Christian religion. And so all these customs, like marriage, they stem from the Christian religion. We have to become aware of this, you know. Now I'm swaying off into a different subject, but it all ties in with one another. Sridhar Krishnamurti didn't believe in any of these customs because he saw the big picture of it. So he said, I'm a human being, I'm in this human body, and everybody has their I energy, the you energy, you know, the energy that you are. That is not just your body. The energy that you are is, some people call it soul. It's a little oversold, the soul, I would say. So I call it the I energy. The I energy is what Rudolf Steiner calls the astral body. Is something that emanates from you. You don't have to be alive to do that. It's an energy that is there, that will persist in the photos of you, in the videos of you. Videos make us eternal. Videos of us like these here on YouTube, they will be there forever unless it all gets destroyed by nuclear power or something. But the energy of it will even persist after that. It will be there. It's just maybe not directly seen, but the I energy is in the essence of my artwork, in the essence of my photos and my videos. The I energy is also in a tree. The I energy is in every object. I energy is in every living being. It's an incredible, powerful energy that everybody has in them. And so when I talk about these subjects, peer pressure, particularly in teens, remember who you are. Remember who you really are. Not what your makeup makes you to be, or your hairstyle, or your clothing. All of that is just, that's fun to play with. It's nice. Yeah. But it's not who you are. And if you can't afford to buy Gianni Versace clothing and have to resort to Wally's, so what, you know? Wally's has some good clothes lately too. So, and it's nice and affordable for everybody. It makes people's lifestyles better. So, not always chopping down on Wally's, please. You know, Wally's giving people a lot. So, that's not who you are. The outfit of Gianni Versace or Gucci or Chanel. That's not who you are. Buy fake, you know, it's cheaper. You know, if that breaks, it doesn't matter. You buy another one. Buy Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses. A dozen for $40. Okay? That's what I did. I like them. They're really, really neat. They're good quality too. It's quite amazing. Yeah, it's better than one sunglasses that are made a little bit better, maybe last a little longer, but they cost 50 times as much, you know. So why do that? You know, it doesn't make any sense unless you have billions of dollars, and it really doesn't matter where you go shopping. But I don't have billions of dollars, not yet. Hopefully I will have. Yeah. I think everybody can get there, you know. Just have to go on the right track with it. Again, it all ties in with one another. You have to go on the right track in your life with everything, you know. You can't be a bulimic, you can't be anorexic, you can't be on a binge with food that's totally unhealthy for you. You can't be looking for role models that are not giving you any food for thought. You can't be looking around and thinking you have to look like Holly Madison. That would be a terrible obstacle to do this. I mean, that's like running against a brick wall, you know. Why would you model yourself after her? I mean, she can take her as an inspiration, but don't use her as, this is how I'm gonna have to look. I better go to a surgeon and show him the photo of her. He already knows her face, and make the face just into that exactly. Or make the face into a Barbie doll's face, which a couple of people have done. It's like, why, you know? That reminds me of that horror movie, where they pin people's eyes open like this. Ugh! That's like mermaid, that's like zombie. No! Don't do that. Don't make yourself look like you are a victim of fire or something. Don't do that. Be who you are. Embrace your skin. Embrace your skin flaps and bags and whatever. My dog, he has a lot of loose skin here. Why would I tuck that surgically? It doesn't make any sense. There are other dogs who have a little stronger, a little more tucked neck, like this. But then there are a lot of dogs who have a lot of loose skin here. That's good. We think that's kind of funny in dogs, you know. We like that, like to touch that and play with that. But in humans, no. That's not acceptable. So I don't think so. I see it as acceptable. I think that's good. What I don't like is when people are anorexic and then you see these ligaments here sticking out, like all of these ligaments and the esophagus and all of this sticking out and all of the bones and all. I find that very, very unappealing. But maybe I'm alone with this view. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to invite you to come and see it the way I see it. Give it a chance. Give it a chance to see it the way I see it. I promise you, your life is gonna become freer and better and more relaxed. I am on my path right now to become free. And I'm taking this opportunity to videotape my thoughts as I'm on this path, on this process. There was a time where I would not even have taken the video camera in my hand. I would have not thought that I had anything to say yet. I was in very bad shape in the past, and I was struggling really badly in the past. But I have learned so much now, so tremendously much in the last 10 years. And I would say Paul has helped me hugely to mature, hugely. He is a very mature person. So he's probably my best teacher that I ever had in my life. A hard one, believe it. But a real good one. You know, often the ones that are hard, I'm not talking about the ones that are abusive. I'm talking about the ones that are stepping on your ego a lot. Those teachers. Those are actually the best ones. They should be the most welcomed ones, because they teach us the most. How can you have a teacher that rolls the red carpet out for you? That doesn't teach anything, right? No, you have to have a teacher who is rigorous, who is absolutely ruthless with his message. That's the only way. Completely straightforward and no compromise in the message. So that's what we really learn from. Those are the ones who really teach us and make us think and revolutionize our brain structure, our neuronal connections. And that's what needs to be reorganized. We have to grow new neurons that connect with neurons that hold the thought that leads us in the right direction. That's what we need to do. This is very important. Here's the blue god. So when you sit at home alone and you think about all these celebrities that you would like to be modeling yourself after, and you think that's the only way you can get any respect from anybody, think again. Read the books by Jiddu Krishnamurti. I also recommend the books by Pema Chodron and Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, Mipam Rinpoche, and Nisargadatta Maharaj. Some of these people don't live anymore, and some of them are still alive. What else? So many good books out there. Thich Nhat Hanh, his book, You Are Here, very important book, very important. It talks about this story. I think I talked about this before in my videos, where there's a story in Buddhism where it's the Buddhist version of Romeo and Juliet, where a young couple, they don't talk much to each other. And because they don't talk, they don't reveal their emotions to each other out of pride or out of fear that it would chase the other person away. Throughout the course of this non-communication evolves a series of worse and worse anti-communications between them, and real serious and deadly misunderstandings, to the point where one commits suicide, and kind of like in Romeo and Juliet, and then in the end the other commits suicide too. So all of this does not have to happen, and it's the same as with what the teens do. They orient themselves on the wrong people. The world does not only consist of those bully type of people. There are unbelievably amazing people on this planet. Paul Watson, Ingrid Newkirk, Alicia Silverstone, Pamela Anderson. Those are incredibly, deeply caring people. And huge list. Sam Simon and Dan Matthews and Robert F. Kennedy, so many people, incredibly nice, wonderful, Robert Redford, hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of people on this planet. Many, most of them not known, but who are giving their lives to save other lives, animals and people. People do anything to bring the message of love to the world. This dimension, this society of love does exist, and we have to keep this in mind. We are not only populated by those type of people who are trying to tell you how you have to make your eyebrows and your hair and your how you have to go to a surgeon and how you have to nip tuck everything and how you have to dress and the size of your breasts and so on. If you have no breasts, then stick to that. Stick to that. Be glad. If you have no butt, then let it go, you know. Leave it alone. Don't worry about it. Focus your mind on creativity. Paint. Create. Make something. Embrace yourself the way you are, every cell of your body. Okay. It doesn't matter if we go out there and the guys aren't like all over us. It doesn't matter. That's not what matters in life. That's not why we're here. We're here to bring the mission of love into the world. That's what matters. That's the only thing that matters. That we find this love in us. Compassion. Nothing feels as great and grand as feeling compassion. I'm telling this to every person, every psychopath, every sociopath. Nothing feels as good as feeling true love. Not receiving true love. Feeling true love. Unconditionally for another living being. I really want people to understand this. Nothing else matters. All the other stuff is just playground, is toys, things to play with, you know, to have fun with. If you have fun with an outstanding body, enjoy it to the fullest extent. Really. But if you don't have a body that looks like a sex toy, for example, like the 3D babes that I find so incredibly hot. They don't even exist. Those 3D babes, they don't exist in real. Nobody has a body like that. That's art. So it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's something to play with. Sex toy, it's wonderful. But to commit suicide over the fact one doesn't look like that, that is completely bypassed life. That's completely bypassed the reason why we're here. You know, we're here to bring a message of love out to the world. And it doesn't matter how somebody looks. People can be dwarfs. They can be in wheelchairs. Look at Stephen Hawking. He can't even talk. He sits in a wheelchair. He can't move anything. He can maybe move his eyes, that's all. So he has to have a computer to help him talk, and it gets more and more difficult as time goes by. He's already lived much longer than the physicians predicted. And maybe one day he will be able, through gene therapy, to reverse all that damage and make himself young again. And that's probably gonna happen. That's probably gonna happen, that people make themselves like 20 again and reverse any kind of degenerations. But that, again, that is also not the goal for us. For people who don't have compassion in the brain, they think it's all these external things that are the goal or something, you know. The people who are relentlessly just, there's only this one thing of making money. It doesn't matter to them how they gain to this amount of money. They have to learn. They need to understand that it is not this external thing. Money is great. It's great to have a lot of money. However, my opinion is not on cost of someone else. Okay? If it is on cost of other living beings, not for me. I would rather be sitting with a hat, cylinder hat, on the street and beg for a couple of change than to be making money on cost of other living beings. And I want people to understand this. Understand the essence of this. The essence of true love. True love is to love. And with money you can do a lot of helping. Give your money that you're making. Make a lot and give a lot. The more you give, the better you feel. That's the essence. That's why you're here. That's your mission. To give. And the teenagers that are suffering at home, I'm telling them, don't orient yourself on the people who are on the wrong track. Orient your life on the people who are giving. Always, always, always look at that. What is that person that I'm looking at? What is he or she giving to the world? Are they giving something? For example, Holly Madison, beautiful woman. I love to look at her. And I'm happy for her, incredibly happy for her. And it doesn't come out in her TV shows too much what she's actually doing for the world. And I would say to her directly, put it in your Holly's world. Put the incredible work you do, the activism for the animals, put that into your show. People need to see this, okay? You are a role model for people. Show them what you're doing. Show it, you know. It doesn't matter what somebody will say. People will always criticize us for anything. There's always somebody who will criticize us. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is to stick to the message of love. Show it to the public, what you're doing. Everyone, every one of you. Show them as much as you can. Bring this message of love out. Yeah. And to my message to many organizations that do a lot for the living beings on planet Earth. Focus on bringing out that love message and don't focus on fundraising. This is very critical. If you focus on fundraising too much, you get carried away with that, you are losing the message of love that you started to begin with. So stick with the message of love.